You're not allowed to leave, you have to testify as a witness. This just happened about an hour ago. But here's the backstory. It's a long one. About 2.5 years ago my apartment was broken into during a camping trip. Some things were stolen, including multiple firearms. A year and a half ago one of my firearms was found by some kids selling crack in a small city right over the border of the next state. The plea deals fell through and the girl the cops had initially mentioned was going to trial. I receive a letter in the mail telling me of the court date and location. But it is explicitly not a summons. Whatever. I want my gun back sooner than later. So I go. Both the prosecutor and the assistant prosecutor are out sick. One with COVID. They make us hang around for a while for no reason and eventually I just leave. They didn't like that. But whatever. Being there was legally voluntary. I tell them they can mail me the new date and I'll deal with it then. 3 weeks go by and here we are this morning. I get home from work and I check my mail. There are 2 letters. One for the first girl. And another's for a guy. The first no just as an accomplice from the updates about the girl. His trial is today. And hers is tomorrow. I go to the courthouse 40 minutes away and let them know I'm here. Everything is fine. They bring in the jury pool and spend 2 hours getting down to 7 jurors. The trial starts and we're just patiently waiting. 4 cops and 1 other civilian victim, witness. They tell us no worries. This will be super quick. They basically just need to ask if it's the firearm I reported stolen and I'll be on my way. They call in all the cops. Who are getting paid this whole time. First it's now 1 p.m. I've been up for 24 hours. On 3 hours of sleep the day before. After working a 12+ hour overnight shift. My entire body is cramping. I'm super uncomfortable. I'm exhausted. I last ate at 10 p.m. The assistant district attorney comes out and tells us they're taking an hour lunch break. I tell her I can't stay and I need to leave. She tells me I'm not allowed to. I already presented as a witness to the judge. I'd been summoned. I hadn't. They can charge me with this or that. One of the cops tells me they could detain me. The judge could order me. After I point out I haven't been summoned and again. This is voluntary. Basically they try and strong-arm me when all I want to do is go home. I point out that this guy isn't even who I was told was found with my gun. The assistant DA starts explaining how oh no, he totally was. I don't know who you heard that from. My local PD mentioned the girl by name originally, giving me all these details about the case. Then re-emphasizing, I really must stay, or I'll be charged with a crime. Don't worry though, we'll get you in right away. So you can leave soon. Soon being in more than an hour. Minimum. Here's the thing. The judge issued a sequester order first thing in the morning before jury selection. I say fine and wait. Here comes the single greatest act of malicious compliance I've ever committed in my life. All the attorneys come in. All the jury comes in. The judge makes me swear to tell the truth. I do. As soon as I finish, I blurt out the prosecutor broke the sequester and was telling me about the case during the break. Stop. Everyone. Except the lawyers out. Including me. Eventually they bring just me back in. The judge again makes me swear to tell the truth. Confirms I understand what's happening. Tells me the importance of a fair trial. Maybe don't witness tamper then? And explains that witnesses are never to volunteer information and are to only answer the questions. You've been summoned and it's a legal obligation. I let him finish and mention that I have never been summoned. He says, then I'm ordering you. Understood? Yes. Everyone comes back in. We all take our oaths again. The prosecutor that was threatening me starts asking questions. Here's the thing. I swore to tell the truth. I never agreed to tell it in a way that makes her life easier. She asks me some basic questions. Name, age, what I do for work, etc. Then she gets into the actual questions. Do I own weapons? Did I report any stolen around this date? Did I own one of this model? Did I report this model stolen, etc.? Is this your gun? It certainly looks like it. Did the 4X police contact you when it was recovered? No. Who did? Why police department? My local PD. Did they give you any details regarding how it was recovered? They said it was allegedly used in a crime by girl's name, defense objects. And the judge strikes that from testimony. By now the DA is realizing that she's giving me too much leeway and starts asking for yes or no answers. Eventually asks if I'd recognize the serial number if I saw it. I tell her no, and that roughly sums up my questions from her. Then it's the defendant's turn. And it goes exactly as you would expect by now. I answer truthfully, but in favorable wording. You said it looks like your gun. But you can't confirm? I'd need to compare the serial number against the police report or the gun shop which still has it on record. Do you know who stole your firearm? No. Do you recognize ZZZZ? No. She asked a few more plausible deniability questions and then I was free to go. I can't wait to be back tomorrow for the girl's trial. I'll probably be much less malicious. But I know the DA will be nervous when she sees me. Court is officially over, so the sequester order is no longer in effect. Good times. And don't worry, if I botched her case in this regard. That kid had more than enough charges. He should have taken the plea deal. Upvoted because anyone who has ever been in a courtroom can tell you how painful it is. I've been up for 24 hours. At this point I would make sure to snore. Up. I think you did well. They jerked you around and showed too little respect for a citizen trying to do the right thing. And then the prosecutor used the wrong approach. It's not your job to compensate for the prosecutor. Hopefully you are treated better tomorrow. Everyone worried about the law doesn't care about everything against the law the DA was doing. You can't leave. We'll make the judge make you stay. Leaves before they find the judge to make you to stay. Every single story I hear about prosecutors and DOS just makes me think less of them. I'm trying to understand what you mean by a sequester order. Jurors can be sequestered, meaning they stay over during the trial and are kept from accessing outside information like from newspapers, TV or online. I highly doubt that for this type of trial they sequestered the jury. And that does not involve any witnesses at all. Wouldn't it count as not being given reasonable advance notice to only get the letter about the trial on the day before? This reminded me to put the gun I was cleaning away in my safe again. Keep your weapons secure, everyone. About 2.5 years ago my apartment was broken into during a camping trip. I'm ashamed of myself. But I have to ask why your apartment went on a camping trip in the first place. Hopefully, after I read the rest of your post I'll delete this stupid question. If I don't, I apologize. Pause to read. Nice post. I've decided to keep the stuff above because it seems like you have a decent sense of humor. That's okay. Prosecutors are not out for truth, justice, or righting wrongs. They're only after prosecutions. Wins. At any cost. One of the many problems that make our whole legal system a racket. Great Mick, hope you feel better soon. I'm sorry, prosecutor. I don't recall what you were coaching me to say in the hallway. I wanna hear about tomorrow and I hope you get some good sleep. Don't go easy on them, winking face. I'm confused about what happened to your guns after they were stolen. Some kids selling crack found them. I'm assuming they were arrested for selling drugs and also have a firearms charge? Hopefully they weren't used to shoot anybody. They sure do things strangely. I've never seen a material witness only notified of a court date. It's always a judicial, administrative order to appear. I wonder what their rate of compliance is. I was once served. I showed up and it was the greatest verbal spar of my life. I almost came. After it was all said and done, the lawyer on the side I was on told me that bringing me into the matter was probably a huge regret from the opposite lawyer. Interesting MC for sure. But my question is, why did they want you at the trial in the first place? It seems like you didn't have anything to add to the prosecution, seeing as you weren't at home during the theft, and that they should be able to get confirmation as to the gun's ownership and report as stolen from the relevant authorities. Plus, any information you had received about who had used your gun from the police shouldn't be admissible in court, as the judge rightly told the jury to disregard. I really want an update on this law. Following for tomorrow's update LMAO.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.